Alright lads, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Tom Harlock and I don't have an intro, but I am ravenous for a big greasy mess. Unfortunately, the subject of today's video could end world hunger. This is Foodie Beauty. Well, at least one of those is true.
I'm probably the laziest person you will ever meet in your life.
Known in real life as Chantal Marie, from Canada to Cuba and over to Kuwait, Chantel has dragged herself through the mud and fortunately for our entertainment has documented every other inch.
My bloomers in the crotch area discolored because of his nasty cum.
With a catalogue of explicit story times, a failed venture into the world of true crime, and a long list of flopped romantic endeavours. Yeah, she might be a big girl, but the real Chantel show begins when the eating ends. Personally, I've known of Chantel for years. As a member of the Goalverse, her and Anne Boleyn are like two dents in the same couch. You can sense the other just by proximity. And probably by the smell. In my 30 years on this planet, I have never quite been begged for anything like you lot have pleaded for me to cover Chantel. And as much as I do love to edge you out, it's getting late, the AdSense is high, and Chantel's religious now, so she can't be nasty to me, or she goes to hell. So, for today's video, hold my hand as we wade through the festering swamps of Chantopolis in an effort to find out exactly what's wrong with Foodie Beauty.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me, time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I will be waiting, time after time.
The earliest uploads on Chantel's channel featured typical gal shite, beauty subscription box reviews, makeup tutorials, sitting at home and counting pads. I don't know what girls do. At the start, her views weren't exactly through the roof, but she was having fun and began mixing things up as her channel grew.
Big thank you to my followers. I'm at like almost 600 subscribers and I'm just so amazed.
Chantel began letting us into her big beautiful world. She was 32, living in Canada, and for the last few years dating a man named BB.
Hi.
Having just lost her job the previous year, Chantel was supported by BB, claiming unemployment, and put all of her efforts into making YouTube a success. And in February of 2017, all that hard work would pay off.
Hey guys. Sorry, I'm just like having a really bad time right now. I'm hangry. Like, I have not eaten a single thing in forever.
Well, you might want to tell your big old paw that, because I'm half tempted to bend back a finger and ask for a wish. Nothing quite freaks me out like a mukbang. Originating from Korea, mukbangs have become a popular genre on YouTube, wherein people throw back fistfuls of food on camera.
So get your food, get your drinks, and join me on this first official mukbang for my channel.
In this first mukbang, Chantel would outline her plan to eat healthy in between gorging.
On the days that I don't do mukbangs, I'm gonna eat very little, and whatever I eat is gonna be healthy.
Adamant she could lose weight while still eating shite, Chantel went on to prove that, shocker, you can't.
Pizza time.
Bailing on the makeup videos in favour of Goblin. More food meant more views, which meant more money, which meant more food. She was making a killing stuffing her face, and as 2017 closed out, Chantel would hit 20,000 subscribers. But new viewers weren't the only thing Chantel was gaining.
I'm trying to be a little quiet because BB's barely getting, it's like 5 in the morning. So I thought I would just do a video for you guys because I'm eating my cheat day.
She was 200 pounds overweight, plagued with a myriad of health concerns, and despite trying one meal a day and healthy-ish mukbangs, and even hiring a personal trainer, Chantel would lose and gain the same 10 pounds, ending the year as big as ever.
I look like a beach ball.
Oh no you don't, love. Beach balls spark joy. and I wouldn't fancy my chances punting you at a small child. But although she struggled, her viewers enjoyed her honesty.
I don't remember much else about my childhood. I do remember my first bag of chips.
In a series of Get to Know Me videos, she'd open up about her childhood. Being raised by her mum, she would finish off her teenage years at a group home, thanks to a complicated relationship between Chantel and attention.
One day I was fighting with my mom about something. I don't even remember. Probably at that time because I wanted to go sleep at my boyfriend's and be allowed to screw him all hours of the night.
Her mum would stop her seeing older men, and so Chantel faked an overdose to show everyone just how sad she really was.
I showed her the bottle and said I took half the bottle. And I hadn't.
After being a big old drama queen, Chantel would be taken from the hospital and placed in a mental institute, where in some strange twist of fate, she was housed next to a gal committed for undereating.
You could tell her family really loved her, and they would bring her all kinds of candy, big tubs of gummy bears, and just junk food surrounded her bed. They want her to eat, you know?
Oh yeah, they want her to eat Chantel. And I don't think I like where this story's going.
I had said to her at some point, "Are you gonna eat those candy?" And I think she kind of caught on because she gave them to me. She gave me her candies.
Jesus Christ, Chantel. Well, I hope you gave her something in return. I'm sure you wouldn't miss a handful of lipids.
My mom was like, "Well, you're not coming back here because you're not ready to." She didn't feel ready.
She would still go over for dinner, and her mum would help her out financially, but Chantel was a nightmare, and her mum couldn't be arsed.
I ended up getting placed at that home for teens who had nowhere to go.
What could be considered quite a traumatic event for most, Chantel had a blast. It was easy peasy, like stealing candy from a baby. Or nutrition from an anorexic.
And you know what? Sad story, but it ended up being one of the best experiences of my life.
Being the Canadian Tracy Beaker for a bit, Chantel would make her dreams come true when she landed a job at, ironically, the same mental health facility she was committed to in her teenage years. But after calling in sick one too many times, Chantel was eventually terminated for being useless. And a year later would find her way to YouTube, where she was free to gobble whatever on earth this is. I hope for both of our sakes, it's a parasitic tapeworm.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus, trying to make his way home.
Chantel is a serial oversharer, and in 2018, just about bent over and spread her arse. In a new series called The Fat Girl Files, Chantel would divulge perhaps a bit too much.
Felt like a little bit of a pain, like a nagging pain down in my roll somewhere. I went searching and there was a Pringles cap stuck somewhere in my roll. Probably was there for like 12 hours.
And they were plain when they started, but now they smell like salt and vinegar.
TP tends to get stuck, and I don't know, my butt cheeks are just like really compressed together, I guess. I don't know what it is.
Another revelation was the great battle between toilet paper and Chantel's flaps.
One guy just tried to be really nice about it and not say anything and just kind of picked it out, and I felt him pick it out and I was like, oh my god, this was the toilet paper.
Oh god, I hope that was a teaching moment and you now carry complimentary Dettol wipes. But shite wasn't the only thing clinging to Chantel, and in 2018 we met the other man in her life.
Hi, Pete.
Hi.
Oh Pete, you funny little man.
Hello.
Hi.
I always look bigger than you. I am bigger than you, but I mean like,
I'm a little bit further back. And you're bigger.
Pete's had become a permanent side dish in Chantel's life, and due to his odd behaviour, was a bit of a case study himself.
She's in the washroom, so now's my chance to slip in whatever I want to slip in, and she won't even realize.
A proud brony, Pete's is somehow the more sensible of the two, often course-correcting Chantel's sticky situations.
You people have been dealing with this for what, like 2-3 years you've been at this vlogging?
Yeah, they already can't stand me.
I've been I've known her for I've known her for over 15 years.
Pete and Chantel were exes, but had remained friends since the breakup.
You know, I definitely love Pete as a person. Pete is his nickname. His real name is Jamie.
Chantel explained that there was so much shared experience and common ground between them that despite the lust being gone, she would always have space in her life for Pete.
I definitely love him as a person, and I don't think that will ever stop because he's a really dear friend of mine. And I think that this whole breakup, you know, was a good thing. We are very good friends, and there's nothing more to it.
They had met in school and worked in the same call centre together, eventually starting a relationship that would last for 6 years and end by Chantel cheating with BB.
It was very wrong of me to have started talking with BB before breaking up with him.
Pete was desperate to keep Chantel and offered her free reign of any knob she wanted to slob on.
Many times Pete would tell me, even if you don't love me anymore, I don't know, maybe he sensed it was coming, but he said, even if you don't love me anymore and you wanted to see someone else, I would be totally cool with that. I would be cool with you having different lovers to make you happy.
Despite the tempting offer, Chantel said no thanks. She met BB online and she was in love.
I'll never forget doing that, like breaking up with him. It was so hard. Because I was pretty much just like, I was like, you know, I'm breaking up with you. I just said everything. I said, I'm not in love with you anymore. And I'm in love with someone else.
Giving up his one true love, Chantel would move in with BB, and he'd settle for just being besties.
You're so vain, you probably think this comment is about you.
Well, it is.
She loved the attention, and he liked to sniff her farts. Can I make it any more obvious? Chantel loved to take her eating show on the road, and in one trip to McDonald's, she got more than she ordered.
That was weird. I had to stop. And this man came to my window, and he was crying, like legit crying. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm so hungry. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, well, I only have my debit card. And I'm like, but I'll buy you something to eat.
Cutting the camera, she returned to explain her good deed.
So I went back through the drive-thru and got him a friggin' meal because that really broke my heart. Aw.
Unfortunately for Chantel, her viewers had eyes, and it was pretty obvious her car hadn't moved an inch. And as the internet discussed her being a big fat liar, it wouldn't take long for another heavyweight to throw her fork in the ring.
I'm getting kind of full, if I'm being honest.
Amberlynn Reid is a fellow YouTuber whose original recipe of mukbangs and flopped weight loss attempts had cemented her position as the queen of carbohydrate kingdom.
They gave me 2 chips, although I asked for an apple, but that's okay.
Taking to Twitter, Amberlynn would vent her disgust at Chantel, but she'd quickly learn the hard way, if you poke a hog, it's gonna squeal.
You know what makes me sick to my stomach? That you use a motorized cart to get around Walmart to go buy your snacks and journals. I'm 372 pounds. And I would never use a scooter because I'd be too ashamed. I would rather not even go into a store.
Oh, that's not very nice, is it? And they do say you shouldn't punch down, but I suppose you are both built like a T-Rex, so just do what you can and try not to hurt yourself.
I got that summertime sadness. Summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh.
With stinky fingers and a lust for life, Chantel uploaded my New Year plans, wherein she details how this one was gonna be different.
I'm going to make 2019 a year of transition.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't. To shake things up, Chantel would hit the streets with Pete. Sometimes we'd go the shops, and then directly behind them to their bins.
Butt shot.
In a series of dumpster diving videos, the pair would sift through bags of shite in an effort to salvage, well, whatever didn't have blood and piss on it.
This is our first time finding something. Sleep, chamomile soap, and this little fish.
Is that it? You'd have a more bountiful loot if you laid down a tarpaulin, did a few star jumps, and collected what fell out. I meant a back fat, alright. If I was being minging, I would have said Diva Cup.
And I found a lack of enjoyment for dumpster diving.
In 2019, Chantel's focus was her polycystic ovary syndrome. It had been exacerbated by her weight, and her attempts to de-escalate its severity were futile.
Same weight, I'm pretty sure.
Gal couldn't stick to a diet to save her life. Literally. Oh God, that was morbid. I hope not.
I'm very paranoid about having surgery when I'm this size. I don't want my heart to give out. There's just when you're obese, especially morbidly obese, it is very risky having surgery of any kind.
She needed a hysterectomy, but it wasn't just Chantel's health in jeopardy. Her relationship was under threat.
BB does want kids. BB, that's fairly important to him. So if that means that we can't live our lives together forever, then that's how it has to be.
And although she acknowledges the need to lose weight, on the lead up to her surgery, Chantel would continue with the mukbangs.
Wow.
Her flip-flopping didn't go down well with viewers, who would flood her videos with dislikes and force Chantel to take a step back.
I'm going to keep my channel up and see how it goes, but I definitely need some time away to take care of myself, and I think that's the most responsible thing for me to do.
Much like most things in Chantel's life, within 24 hours she had fallen off the wagon, returning to YouTube with a red lip and a surgery date.
Hey guys. So at this point, I know you probably think that I'm trolling you, and I promise that's not the case.
Because despite her worst efforts, Chantel hadn't shifted a pound, and in the summer of 2019 underwent a hysterectomy.
I have to spend 4 hours in recovery because I have sleep apnea. So it's an automatic 4 hours to monitor breathing and oxygen saturation and stuff.
In a video called Intravenous Mukbang, alright, I made that one up, Chantel let her viewers know she made it through. With BB by her side and enough drugs pumping through her system to put down a small donkey, Chantel would make a full recovery, and it wouldn't take long for her to be back to her old self.
So I thought I would just do, what I do best. Eat!
And with the Halloween season quickly approaching, things were getting freaky.
Don't I look wonderful?
On the 21st of October, Chantel uploaded Halloween Cheese Cemetery Mukbang, a 17-minute video wherein she recreates a cheese platter she found on Pinterest, slaps on a neon mound of BPA-filled plastic, and retells the horrific tale of one of America's most devastating cults.
So I was reading a while ago on this cult.
During the video, Chantel displayed graphic images as she scoffed dairily triangles.
So I'll show you a picture. You don't see the body, just see it covered with their shoes sticking out.
And the internet wasn't very happy. Being labelled gross and insensitive, it was this blunder that led to Chantel's first mention in the mainstream media. Reports on Chantel's video resulted in her making a statement to Metro UK. According to her, her video was targeted out of malice. Despite the negative press, Chantel was determined to end the year with a bang. BB was working, so she celebrated New Year's Eve alone in a hotel. After Chantel went for dinner and drinks with her family, she pulled out the camera and started a live stream.
I rented a hotel room for 2 nights. A nice hotel room that I'm in right now by myself.
But the video abruptly ended when it appeared Chantel wasn't quite as alone as she claimed. Oh crikey, who on earth could that be, eh? Well, Pete's, obviously.
Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak is so lonely, baby. Heartbreak is so lonely. Heartbreak is so lonely, you could die. Well, thank you very much.
BB didn't like the attention. He was often heard in the background of Chantel's videos, just smashing away at the Xbox controller.
There's going to be a lot of swearing. BB is playing a video game.
Although they had been together for years, BB and Chantel's relationship hinged on his desire to have a family, and not a wife that's a public mess, I suppose. So it came as no surprise when her and BB announced they had broken up.
So, BB and I decided to break up. I think a lot of you could see our dynamic, and
It's changed a lot over the years.
After the separation, Chantel was roomless, wombless, and turned to the only constant in her life,
I'm gonna stay in and jerk off.
Pete's. Moving into a luxurious villa, the pair experienced lockdown together.
We can go for a walk on this path after.
Can we, though?
And as Pete spent his days comparing the dimensions of his new waifu pillow, Chantel would eat her way to 400 pounds and beyond. At this point for Chantel, eating thousands of calories worth of greasy food every day was a walk in the park.
You eat garbage so you can make money to eat garbage.
That's the life of a mukbanger.
And she didn't care one bit. Clogging her arteries filled up her bank account. Yeah, her views weren't massive, but her little dedicated fan base would happily support her.
What the fuck? Why did somebody just give me $400? Oh my god!
On YouTube, you can set up channel memberships or super chats allowing for tips. It's often speculated these supporters are secret dirtbags who love Chantel being as foul as possible, which would make sense, but I can't prove anything, so maybe they're just not normal. Throughout 2020, Chantel uploaded over 150 mukbangs. Each plate was, well, more like a tray, but I'll give the gal her dues. She does know how to spice up her gobble.
So this video's time period is going to be the Roaring 20s.
Ooh, the Roaring 20s. Wait, are we talking decades or stones? Because, I'll be honest, gal, you are looking pretty shapely. In a series of time warp videos, Chantel would cook up themed meals, alongside dedicated costumes and an attempt at a set.
I was thinking we could head over to Jackrabbit Slim's for a burger and a shake. What do you think?
Ooh, well I think you should take that Marlboro Gold, give me a toke, and then pop it in my eyeball. Please, I beg. From dinners inspired by various decades, to feasts from films such as Pulp Fiction and Titanic.
Beauty bite?
In 2020, Chantel was still massive, but she was happy.
Alright, you gotta look like a psycho in the thumbnail. So...
I look like a psycho in general.
She had Pete's and loyal viewers who had forgiven her missteps. And as the world stood still, the pair would share their daily escapades.
You look nice.
Thousands of people would tune in to observe the dynamic between the star and her loved-up orbiter.
So we're just gonna drive around and show you some of the pretty lights, so let's get to.
And as we said goodbye to 2020, Pete and Chantel would take us on a tour of the neighbourhood decorations. And as they drove through miles of Christmas lights, just for a moment, everything felt like it might be okay.
Well, that's great for your viewers. That's a lovely Christmas treat.
I said might.
Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound.
I don't know what's clapping. I just know something is.
Bang, bang, my baby shot me down.
Yeah, Pete's was great company, but Chantel needed to be loved. She wanted to be touched, so she downloaded Tinder, set her preferences to vermin within 10 miles, and in 2021, met Nada.
I'm not catching feelings.
Oh, well, maybe not, but stock up on the pessaries, love, because you might be catching some in.
Good afternoon, guys. How we doing?
Suddenly craving a chemical peel. At the start, he was only referred to as the Egyptian man. But after Chantel let his name slip, viewers quickly discovered the identity of 40-year-old Nada.
He's definitely 100% not somebody I could ever be in a relationship with. So it's just like for fun. Because he's way too controlling. Like, he's so controlling and just weird.
From what she had told everyone, Nada was rude, controlling, and Chantel absolutely loved it.
Arab men can have a temper and tendency to be controlling. Yeah, I know, but they're sexy. Oh, God.
Well, yeah, we all love a bad boy, Chantel, but not a patient bloody zero.
I did go over to the Egyptian guy's house.
After speaking for a few days, their first date would take place in April. Travelling down to his apartment, she had no idea what she was letting herself in for.
I think I did maybe like 5 lines, 4 or 5 lines. And I know it's hard to say that because I know you guys, I'm not usually like that, Or maybe I am and you just don't know me. I don't know.
Reporting back on livestream the following day, and as Pete sat there searching WikiHow for cochlear self-mutilation, Chantel would go into detail about her passionate night of being ragged about.
Every time we would cuddle, we would start kissing, and then he would again and again and again and again and again. Like, I swear to fucking God, 7 times. I was just like, so I'm just at one point, I'm just like, I can't. I'm sorry.
No, you're not, and I don't forgive you.
This guy?
Might I recommend avoiding him forever?
It was plain to see Pete's couldn't stand Nada.
He seems clingy in an annoying kind of way.
Yeah, I know, but you just have to stink out after, that's all.
But Gal didn't want to hear it. She was in love, and everyone else was just thick.
Last time I checked, I think my name was on my channel, and I get to share whatever I want on my channel, right?
Yeah, but just because you can doesn't always mean you should. Within days, Nada was featuring on Chantel's channel. He didn't have a job, and Chantel was funding his lifestyle. But he was only interested in her money. He'd swerve her calls, and when he did answer, was nothing short of an arsehole.
Hi, guys!
It was obvious to everyone watching, Nada wanted a good time party gal, and Chantel being willing to fund it was just a bonus.
Friend with benefits. Yay.
Yeah, there were moments that he was kind to her, but more often than not, he was dismissive and degrading. And I understand having your blinkers on, but when thousands of people are telling you he's a nightmare, maybe it's time to wake up.
We hate Chantal. Your channel's better without her.
Thank you so much. I think I would hit her too.
To try and establish Nada his own revenue stream, Chantel set him up a YouTube channel where his chefing expertise were called into question. I mean, if anyone could identify this foul slop, I'd really appreciate it. I've seen more delicately presented cum shots.
I called him like fucking 100 times on Messenger, on the phone, no answer. So you know what? I know what you're doing. So I I verbally abused him. Bad.
In Chantel's life, there's a very fine line between love and obsession. And on one chilly evening, Chantel snorted that line and was ready to fight.
Like, you don't not call me all night. What the hell? How can that even happen? You're not even thinking about me? Like, no. It doesn't fly with me. At all.
Not quite believing Nada was out at a mate's, Chantel thought it'd be a grand idea to go investigate.
Okay, let's go. Who's coming? In between my legs.
Oh, well, hopefully a witch doctor. Being egged on by her viewers, Chantel flopped in her car and headed to Nada's.
I'll be back. Bye.
Peeking through his windows and trying his doors, Chantel quickly realised Nada wasn't home.
I don't think anyone was home. I don't know. Like, he has his room, which was dark, but I mean, if you're in the room with somebody, it's gonna be dark. I didn't hear any noise. His kitchen light was on, the door was locked.
Convinced Nada was seeing another woman, Chantel started to spiral.
Yeah, I feel like I can't let the. I almost want. I want to cry so hard. I just can't.
On the odd occasion when he would answer her calls, Chantel would spend her evenings live streaming with Nada and her days complaining about his behaviour. According to Chantel, Nada would get physical and talk to her like shit.
It was bad. Bad. Really bad.
She would come on live talking about how he's the worst person to ever exist.
You look like a piece of shit, so... Yeah, and you look like Squidward.
Only to go to his house that evening. Not only was he abusive, but even worse for Chantel, he didn't want to claim her.
Did Chantal buy her own engagement ring? If so...
We're not engaged, guys.
She just wanted to be loved, but nothing was going right for Chantel. It had been long speculated she was off her head for most of the time since they met, but Chantel would deny having a problem, until it all came crashing down during one tragic live stream.
I'm pretty sure that I'm addicted to cocaine.
Depressed, addicted, and in love with a man who couldn't give less of a shit, life was going tits up. But Chantel would quickly learn that rock bottom had a basement. After claiming to be rehabilitated, Chantel would log on to find terrible news. In the summer of 2021, Nada would announce his new relationship with a woman named Dee Dee. Dee Dee was a long-time Chantel viewer who had messaged Nada and within weeks found herself perched on his arm like nature's most bargain bin parrot. Chantel would issue a warning to Dee Dee, telling her to run as fast as she can.
Your friend Nader is not who you think he is. Okay? You don't know shit. You don't know what the fuck he's put me through for 7 months. At all. You have no idea.
Nada and Dee Dee would flaunt their relationship online, but ending the year on a good note, Pete would start his own channel, and thank God.
What does Chantel smell like? Usually, like old cheese.
Oh, well, I hope it's a sharp cheddar with those crunchy white bits that make your teeth go, ooh.
Let me control you and I'll exploit you. Bend you over, but she don't starfish like I do. That's okay, because I got that chorizo on the down low. I'll be the man, but don't challenge me, because I can do what I want, because I'm me. So I'm leaving, baby, just as I should, and hey, it's your loss, because the starfish is good.
It's a new year, and Chantel was determined to reclaim her dignity and her CPAP breathing machine that was currently being held hostage by Nada.
I'm coming for my stuff like I told you.
Because they were simultaneously live streaming, you could watch the drama unfold from every angle.
Good luck.
Driving down to Nada's, Gal was on a mission.
I need my machine.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. What a piece of shit.
But upon arrival, Chantel found more than she bargained for. Although he told Chantel they had broken up, Nada was with Dee Dee.
You have another fucking woman there having wine, you stupid fucking gonorrhea-filled piece of shit. Giraffe-looking asshole.
Oh, babes, it'll be alright. Just take a deep breath and relax. Or maybe a bunch of short, shallow ones. I'm not sure what the medical recommendation is.
Pete is more of a man than you'll ever be. Ever.
Heartbroken and empty-handed, Chantel wasn't having it. She was going back. She wanted to breathe.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Nader. I'm going to get my fucking CPAP. I came to get my CPAP. And I'm gonna get it.
And as Chantel stood on his doorstep screaming for the CPAP machine, the tension would reach boiling point.
Go break it! Go! Fucking asshole.
Well, you ain't gotta tell him twice. Worried for Chantel's welfare, a viewer eventually called the police.
Is that a cop? There's the police.
Entering Nada's apartment, the cops intervened and retrieved Chantel's machine.
She's here because she wants his breed machine.
As thousands listened in to Nada being questioned by police, Chantel would head home with a broken machine and her heart in tatters.
Why would he leave me? I'm a beautiful BBW. I give awesome head.
Sometimes in life, you've got to drop the plates so you can stack them up properly. And in 2022, Chantel was ready to let it all go. As a long-time sufferer of early onset hair loss, Chantel had battled her bald spots. Her follicles were evacuating the dance floor, and as January rolled around...
Alright, I'm gonna shave my head.
For Chantel, it was time to hang up her orthopedic ballet flats.
And this, ladies, we are now at a stage where the curtains match the drapes. My poopa looks like this.
With nothing but a wall clipper set and a dream, Chantel shaved her head on live stream, and honestly, it's the best she's ever looked.
Looks better than the 27 strands of hair that we're holding on while being smothered in 2 pounds of hair fibers.
Could probably do with another few minutes in the pot to harden up, but if my chicken laid that, I'll be a very happy farmer. Logging on to bargainhardfronts.com, Chantel would invest in a fresh install and become a new woman.
This is my hair. I don't wear wigs. Sorry.
Oh, well, boots the house down, etc. Category is gunt.
Pathetic.
Oh, your words, not mine. Channeling her pain into art, Chantel would perform a romantic tribute to Nada in the form of an audible nightmare.
Someone told me that you love me. Come on, baby, come and show me. I'm so broken and lonely, I'd do anything for you.
Alright, I'll let her know. He said if you could find a key and stick to it, that would be a great first step. But pathetic wasn't Chantel's only step in the booth. At the start of her channel, she made song covers via an app called Smule, and I found her profile alongside 20 other songs, so if you're in the mood for a bad time, crack on boys. Heading into summer, Chantel was feeling full, smelling rancid, and looking like she's about to make a final video for Bjork. Not even all the king's horses or all the king's men could put Chantel back together again, or stop these freaks from talking about each other.
Go to the clinic, you fucking brown-nosing bitch. You have an ugly fucking comb over, bitch.
You have an ugly bald head. That's really good, Natter. The sausage is so good, Natter. Ooh, it's so good.
Eat some more, Dee Dee, you fucking bitch.
Going live at the same time, they would debate the origin of Nada's knob rot. But after Nada showed Chantel's worn-out gusset,
When you know how to wash this first, come talk.
there was only one voice of reason left.
Nobody's coming out of this looking good. Nobody.
Nada wanted Chantel out of his life.
Showing my dirty underwear, like from your dirty dick. He just doesn't want me to talk about him, but you're doing everything to make me talk about you. You piss me off. You fucking treat me like shit. It's not gonna fucking fly with me.
And Chantel didn't appreciate that one bit.
He's on his way to the courthouse. If he really is, I'm going to the police station right now.
Under the threat of Nada gaining a restraining order, Chantel sped to the nearest police station to let them know exactly how she'd been treated.
It's a big case, so I gotta go back in an hour and talk to a detective.
Having previously been jailed for treating an ex-girlfriend like the plastic lid of a microwave meal, Nada was on probation and any new offence could really balls up his life.
Bye, Natter. Have a nice life with Dee Dee. I'm sure you'll be nice and bored. But don't worry, she'll provide lots of gas station booze just for you on her care and office budget.
Nada was arrested but held for just 24 hours and then set free to, I don't know, serve slop and look rancid.
Oh my god.
Oh, Dee Dee, not even the magic man in the sky could save you from that.
I just want to be done away with him. I don't want to think about him anymore. And because of this, now I have to. So that's another reason that I just wanted to drop the charges.
Chantel would consider the implications, email the detective and take back her statement. Yeah, she was dramatic, but she had obviously gone through summits, so the sympathy poured for Chantel. But sometimes honesty can be a downfall.
The truth shall set you free. The truth shall... And I totally lied about giving a homeless man a burger at McDonald's that one time.
Proving that having a big back doesn't always mean you've got a spine, Chantel would wash herself clean. Well, she had to wash something.
I don't know why I lied about that. That was stupid. What else did I lie about? I don't think anything else.
Her love life was down the shitter, her YouTube reputation was in tatters, and she didn't know whether to join the queue at McDonald's or roll up a dirty banknote and snort it. Many thought this was the end of Chantel, but just like the dust on her exercise ball, she will rise.
I'm gonna sleep and then for a little while and then I'm gonna like shower and go check out the resort or whatever.
Well, if by whatever you mean ruin your life for the 5th time this year, then yeah mate, I'm all for it. In an effort to chill her big bones, Chantel booked a luxurious vacation to Cuba. But despite the idyllic setting, Chantel couldn't find her inner peace.
Young girl with I'm so hammered, I haven't been just drunk in forever. But I don't feel sick, I just feel happy.
What started as a fun night with a couple of drinks quickly headed south.
If I don't wash it, it smells like fucking barracuda. Alright? My pussy's I'm gonna be the first person on the internet to admit my pussy smells like fish once in a while. Alright, my pussy smells like fucking ricotta. Alright? Does that make you feel better?
Well, not really, but I suppose it does upgrade Pete's to reliable narrator. All that poon chat made Chantel emotional, and as she finished the first bottle of rum, down came the tears. As always, conversation quickly turned to Nada.
What was wrong with your old life, Natter? Huh? I paid too much rent for you? Huh? What else was wrong with it? I spread my legs too much for you?
This is the first time in ages Chantel had really addressed Nada. Ever since he was arrested, she had promised she'd stay away. But after a long day of smashing drinks, Chantel let us into a dirty little secret.
I swear to God, I've never thrown up after eating a girl out. Except for Dee Dee.
Oh God, I don't think you could ever pry that out of my mouth. or scrub the taste from it. In a Shyamalan third act twist, Chantel would reveal that just weeks prior, herself, Nada, and Dee Dee partook in a saucy threesome. Maybe not saucy. Apparently it was quite dry.
I've thrown up after eating you out. You're disgusting. You have a nasty vagina. And you've traumatized me. I have fucking PTSD, you fucking sardine bitch.
I think for a lot of people, this was the first time Chantel was showing her true colours. When you're on live stream for hours at a time, especially after a few drinks, it's hard to hide who you truly are.
Go back to Egypt, you fucking refugee piece of shit. You don't even deserve to be in Canada. You should be deported. You deserve to be hung by the fucking president.
Oh, Chantel, that's disgusting. The words hanged.
You deserve everything you get.
For hours, Chantel ranted about just how unlovable she really was, which I'm sure more people would show sympathy for if Chantel wasn't such a nightmare herself.
You cannot come for me unless you show yourself. If you're not gonna really show yourself and you come for my looks, fuck you, no one cares. No, number one thing, you're not gonna call me, I'm not ugly.
Alright, well, I'm right here, and you make me feel sick. Returning to Canada, and having admitted to have seen Nada since reporting him to the police.
There goes my whole case.
Chantel had no other option than to try and move on.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my stomach. I'll be right back. Oh.
Got a poop?
Yeah.
But Dee Dee wasn't the only thing Chantel was eating.
Oh my god, look at my binge from yesterday.
Weight loss was out the window. Instead of counting calories, Chantel was taking stock of every acrylic wig Amazon had to offer.
This is a promise. If I ever talk to him again, you can hate me. Don't unsubscribe yet.
Nada may have mugged her off for 12 months straight, but Gal couldn't stay away. He could say he hates her guts, and the next day she'd sell them on Facebook Marketplace.
If you say yes, then I will love you forever and give you everything you ever wanted in your life. Do you love me?
But he was busy with Dee Dee, and all Chantel had was an ill-fitting top and a shapeless bottom. Spending hours on live stream, she would neck back bottles and beg for his attention.
Don't leave me! Sit!
Fortunately, Pete's was always there to pick up the pieces, and the chunks of Nada's goulash from her back teeth. Unfortunately, and I'm not quite sure how, things for Chantel could only get worse. There is only so much space in this universe, and with Chantel and Anne Boleyn the size of small planets, in April, the world prepared itself for a total eclipse. After previously calling Nada a narcissist due to his mistreatment of Chantel, Anne Boleyn put down the orange chicken and decided to eat her words. As you can imagine, this went down like, well, Chantel on Dee Dee.
You're apologizing to my abuser, and you're supposed to be my friend. And now you're gonna gaslight.
Oh, congratulations, it reads. According to leaked texts between the gals, Anne Boleyn was encouraged to apologise by a therapist.
You could have talked to me or him in private. Why would you do that at 4 a.m.? Your therapist makes you apologize at 4 a.m. to somebody? It's weighing on your mind. Like you give a shit about Nader. Give me a fucking break.
Well, I'll be honest, Anne Boleyn, that does sound like a massive lie, but I haven't got a single cow in this race, so I'm gonna sit back and watch you two milk each other.
You act like an impressionable teenager. You're not. You need to grow up. You're 30. Put away the candles and the journals. Stop being a fucking... Get some help for your narcissism and stop gaslighting, okay? That's all I gotta say about it.
And as the earth continued to spin, the two celestial bodies would go their separate ways. Taking stock of her life, Chantel would get herself clean and finally over Nada.
No, I still miss him. Sometimes. But I am happy. Yeah, I think I'm happy.
But as the nights became long and winter took over, Chantel would find herself yearning for love once more. Nada had Dee Dee, Pete's spit had a new texture, but Chantel's bed was dry and boring. The only wet and wild in her life was the childmine mica smeared across her eyelids. Downloading Tinder, Chantel searched for male friends to have a good time with, and it wouldn't take long for her to find just that.
I have been seeing somebody, and they are... it's just kind of really gone really fast. We've been talking a lot, like video, pretty much all night since we've met.
According to Chantel, she had met a new man.
I'm going to be keeping this relationship very private.
Alright, well, I'll believe that when I see it. And I have, because I made this video. Spoiler alert, she doesn't. Meet Salah.
Here, baby.
Early 30s, supposedly successful, and evidently lacking most of his major senses.
I've only known this guy for like 2 days. And he wants to fly me out like next week and get married.
Despite Salah living in Kuwait, the relationship would move fast. And just like with Nada, Chantel was willing to lose herself to find love.
As you can see, I purchased my first hijab today. This is just a 2-piece set. I have decided to try to adopt different values, try to be more humble.
Announcing her decision to start wearing a hijab, at the start of November, Chantel hopped on a plane at Montreal with a pair of strip lashes and both armrests. Touching down in Kuwait, Chantel would introduce the world to her new man. Launching a joint YouTube channel, we'd see them exploring the sights of Kuwait.
You're Burger King, baby.
And just as promised, for Chantel and Salah, the year would ring out with the sound of wedding bells, or the faint hum of people performing admin.
We are today in the court, and we are wedding.
Just 31 days after they first met online, Chantel and Salah ended 2023 with a glamorous courthouse wedding, and the faint memory of circulation.
He's tall and athletic, I'm round and pathetic, but together we make a perfect 10. They said she'll never go to Kuwait, she's afraid of the plane, all because of her weight. I got on the plane and I sat in only one seat.
For Chantal and Salah, a new year brought a new apartment.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Kareem. Come on in, welcome home, Habibi.
And as they settled into married life, Chantal began her commitment to Islam.
Today, Chantal, my pretty wife, became officially a Muslim.
But despite her new life in Kuwait, shards of what once was still scattered across the floor in Canada.
And then I guess there's like some Pete's guilt. I feel like I'm so important to his life, and I just wish I wasn't. I wish that he had something else.
There was Pete's, the luxury villa she was paying for, all of her shite, and who could forget the cats?
Guys, I'm home, guys. Here, kitty, 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 kitties.
In February, Chantel returned to Canada for one job and one job only.
BBJ, you're not going in the suitcase, you're going in a cardboard box.
To get rid of the cats. Sam was going to a new owner, and the plan was to have 20-year-old BBJ euthanized.
I don't know. She's honestly like really not, she's not well, she's very old. And I don't know if it's like, if the most humane thing, I don't know.
She was getting on, clinging on to life, stinking of cat piss, had terrible taste in fat. Well, who are we talking about? Because her audience were absolutely livid, Chantel decided if somebody wanted to get BBJ, they could have her. But if not, she was booked in to be put down.
I've just got a lot going on, and they just would be really better off somewhere else. It's good for them.
Responding to her post, a long-term audience member offered to reoma.
Bye, sweetie. I'm gonna miss you so much, but I'm gonna get updates all the time.
But after the handover, in a shocking turn of events, it was revealed the long-term viewer was working in tandem with their sister, who happened to be a Chantel reaction channel.
What they did is illegal. What they did is fraudulent. Whenever I call the police and tell them that this harasser who's been stalking me and fucking harassing me for however long has my cat, are you serious? I don't care if it's your relative. She's gonna give the cat back. Trust me. Watch.
Chantel freaked out, demanding BBJ be returned.
And if you don't give my cat back, I will find you and I will get her myself.
But vet reports released by BBJ's new owner revealed a myriad of health complaints that Chantel had failed to address, from bladder infections to ingrowing nails and matted fur, and her viewers rallied against Chantel's wishes. Over the course of her channel, Chantel's viewers had shared their concerns over the cat's welfare. They were borderline living in squalor.
I'm just getting off of here. Goodbye.
Well, it is nice that the cats are safe, but I don't really enjoy animals being used as props, unless it's tastefully done taxidermy. Returning to Kuwait, catless and covered up, Chantel and Salah celebrate the summer with an exotic trip to Thailand. Vlogging every moment, the lovebirds would visit temples, try local delicacies, and even pet elephants.
Hi.
or as Salah likes to call it, giving Chantel a hug. With 2024 just around the corner, it's anybody's guess what could happen next. As of right now, Nada and Dee Dee are still together, perhaps a bit too much. Chantel told Pete that she's not coming back, so he's moved into a new house with a new roommate and still hasn't washed his hair. But that's alright. And in Kuwait, as she gears up for a 1-year anniversary, half a decade after starting her channel, through all the diets and heartbreak, Chantel hasn't lost a single pound. As big as ever and as gross as always, Chantel may be a new woman, but some things just never change.
Did you hear that?
And on that wet note, that's all the time I've got for today's video. But if you did enjoy it and you feel so inclined, you can leave me a like. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below in the comment box. And if you want more videos from me, you can always click subscribe. Cheers for watching, I really appreciate it. And I'll see you boys next time. Bye!